right, so today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the life of a college athlete and the difference between the perception and the reality of being a college athlete. Start off with just like a day in the life for me personally. I wake up in the morning, get dressed, brush my teeth, all that. Then I go to class. On a Tuesday, I go to class from 8 to 9:25, and then 9:25 to 10:50. And then I'll go from 12 to 1:30. And after that, I get some lunch. And then after that, I go straight to baseball practice from 2:30 to 6:30. Sometimes it'll cut out a little early at like 5:30 or 6, depending on the day. But then after that, on days that we don't have a game, we'll have we'll have a little bit of lifting afterwards. So you have to go from 7 to 8 for me personally, and that's a super long day. You don't have time for friends, family. You don't have time for anything. And then even after lift, like I have to come home and I have to do homework that I have to do at 12 or anything like that I have to do to get ahead in school. So it's tough. That's just a normal Tuesday or Thursday for me. Then the people, like I kind of mentioned a minute ago, like you don't have, it's hard for you to have friends outside of your sport because you're never with people. You don't have time for anybody, friends, because you're working on schoolwork from, from my case, from 8 to 1:30 basically, and then from then on, you're doing baseball from somewhere from 2 to 8. So you don't have time for anybody or anything that's not with, your team. And that's why I feel like a lot of teams will go with that family mentality, and they always say they're family because that's who you spend the most time with. And, it really is like a family because you're spending at least 4 hours a day with each other. And then say you have a game, a road game that you're traveling from, could be from 9 in the morning and getting back at 9 at night. So you're spending 12 hours a day in one day with just those particular people. So it's just tough to have time for other people. And, you'll make time, like you have one day off a week. In my case, in season, you have one day off a week. And in that one day, you really not want to do anything but just be lazy because you worked that hard for 6 days in a row. You want to give your mind and body a rest. So usually that's a Sunday for me. And then I want to go into talking about athlete, student, and student athlete. I feel like a lot of people will say, you're a student athlete, but in my opinion, you're really an athlete student because the first example is just when you come in and you go to college, you get a college scholarship. It's athletic. You get paid to go to school for your athletics. Like someone in my case wouldn't have the academic scholarships to be able to afford to come to LR. The reason I'm here is because of an athletic scholarship. So, that's just one example. And then second example is just you do way more athletics than you do school. It may seem like, okay, you go to class for 2 or 3 hours, but in reality, it's not so much class, because a lot of people in class, they're not going to listen or, they're not fully paying attention, and they can be on their phones or whatever, but, and then you have athletics, on the other hand, is just 4 to 5 hours a day. On a game day, it's, for baseball, the game lasts 3 hours itself, and we have to be out there 2.5 hours early for BP for a home game, and sometimes you have to get out there before that, if you want to get any extra work in. So I just feel like you spend way more time with athletics than you do students. Being a student is great and all, but athletic is where the money's at, and that's what's paying for my school basically. So that's where I'm at on that debate. And last thing I want to go into is just the difference between, a lot of people talk about the difference D1, D2, and junior college. I've had the opportunity to play both D1 and Division II. I spent 2 years at Charlotte, and I'm in my third year at Lenore Ryan, but there's really no big difference. Just the biggest difference is just probably the facilities are nicer. But as far as time spent and all that, it's the same. You got 20 hours a week in the fall. In our off season, you have 20 hours a week, 2 days off. So that's 4 hours a day. That's the coaches want to say they go by that guideline, but you really spend a lot more time. 30 minutes, hour extra there a day. You're spending 25 hours a week. Just at practice. And then spring is different because every game counts as for 3 hours, but the game might last 4 hours. Plus, you got to be out there, early for BP and stuff like that. So that's about it. And then junior college, I've heard, not from experience, but they said basically there's no rules and regulations on how much time you can spend. So a lot of junior colleges or junior college kids that I've played with have always said they might practice for 6 or 7 hours in one day, which is ridiculous. And then, it's tough for us, and it's not always rainbows and roses and all that stuff. So the perception, we don't get any extra benefits or anything like that. Maybe some gear and stuff, but as far as, getting special treatment, it's the exact opposite because you have the microscope on you as a student athlete. So a lot of people don't think that way that aren't, but sometimes you have professors that just sometimes just don't like athletes, and then you have some that do. But that's pretty much where I'm at on being a student athlete, and thank you.